Testing, testing, testing. We'll get started in three, two, one. Hey, everybody. This is Braydyn Bear back at it again with a very, very special video. I usually am not the type to be doing ASMR, especially this form of ASMR content, but here we are. I am very excited to share with all of you the first ever expanded CFP bracket. Um, it's going to be a real treat this year. The college football season has been a great one. It's been a great, great tournament, and been a great season for my Indiana Hoosiers. One that we just didn't expect. We never expected IU to have one of the best seasons in the history of this program ever. Let's just say that I've been crying a lot this year. I've been up and down this year. I've been here and there. It's been a real treat. It's been really fun. And watching Kurt Signetti was in the playoffs this year, like against Notre Dame. Trust me, I'm not going. I think it's over $1,000. But anyway, I can say to you right now that it's going to be one of the best matchups I think we'll ever see. And out of the Hoosiers this year, will be competitive. I'll get into more of that in a minute. But this, besides my Hoosiers going 11-1, you've seen it all throughout the channel. I've been, and even on TikTok and other places, I have been sold on the Hoosier spirit, sold on it. And so, why don't we celebrate this triumphant achievement and this new expanded playoff format and do a little bracket ASMR style. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some amazing content. Really not amazing. It's just going to be a bracket. So we've filled a lot of these out during the NCAA tournament. I've seen a lot of people do this with the NCAA tournament. I thought to myself, why not do this for college basketball or football? So why not? We may consider basketball down the road, but for right now, it's football. So here are the teams where my cursor's at, are the teams that are in the first round. First round. And I wanted to make sure that y'all knew who these people were. Of course, we know Clemson and Texas as programs. Clemson had the amazing victory last night over SMU, and now they are basically took SMU's 3 seed away. They are ranked 11th in the playoffs. Clemson is ranked 12th, and Texas is at 5 this year in the college football playoff ranking. It may not be the same as the Associated Press. Clemson was rocky throughout most of the year. Texas has been dominant for most of the year, so you'll get a good matchup, especially on the offensive side of the ball for Texas, and defensively for both squads. They should be okay. I mean, Clemson has struggled more this year. They've had 3 losses, and how they even got in an ACC championship and won it was a complete accomplishment, not just for that program, but for everybody else. And so, I apologize if I yawn a little bit in this video. I've been studying for finals, which are coming up next week, in my last ones ever in college. So I'm really excited for that. And then their bye will be against a really powerful, yet kind of like us. It's like us where we defied all the odds. You think IU defied all the odds? Arizona State also defied the odds. They were supposed to finish last in their conference, but now they really shot up the ranks, becoming one of those teams that are as disrespected or equally disrespected as Indiana. And IU has been disrespected throughout the whole year. Every single time I turn on the news, social media, the TV, wherever I'm at a bar or something, I just see IU get hammered by all these media pundits. Arizona State hasn't been talked about as much in the press, except for the last 3 weeks. And Dillingham has an amazing team that he's built together. And I think Arizona has an opportunity to maybe make some noise, maybe through the semifinals. We'll have to wait and see. They are ranked as the 1 seed in the college football playoffs. So let's go down here. Besides Arizona State, Clemson, and Texas, we got Ohio State and Tennessee in the second matchup. Now we're going to get to our picks here in a minute, but I'm just analyzing both teams. Actually, maybe I should pick all these teams here in a bit. I'll get to that in a bit. Maybe we'll do one side up and one side down, but we'll have to wait and see. But first, Tennessee looked, they're not as good as they were last year with Hendon Hooker. I don't think the offense clicked a lot at times. It'll be rocky. They will be shaky. Ohio State literally got their butts chewed against Michigan. It was an embarrassing loss. An embarrassing loss. If they lose this game, it's over for Ryan Day. It's over. There is nothing that will replace that feeling of when you lost to Michigan or that team up north. And I will say, Ohio State needs to win this game not only for themselves, but to protect their coach and their whole identity. It's embarrassing, just embarrassing to see Ohio State be like that. Their opponent is the Oregon Ducks, who won the Big Ten championship last night over this team down here where my cursor's at, the Penn State Navy Lions. And I'll get to that matchup here in a bit, but Oregon's probably going to be a team that will be faced right where my cursor's at again in the national championship. There's no reason for them not to be in this, absolutely none. And so we are really hoping to see maybe Oregon make a deeper run in the playoffs, unlike these teams up here. Now at the bottom half of the bracket, we have SMU, the Mustangs, making it to their first national championship of sorts since 1980s. The 1980s, when they had Eric Dickerson on that team. It was incredible. Versus Penn State. Now this is going to be played in the freezing cold at Happy Valley. Unlike these games where, yeah, Ohio State's going to have a cold atmosphere, Texas is going to likely have a warm atmosphere, and Arizona State should have a warm atmosphere at their neutral site game. Penn State and SMU, two teams that really epitomize good in their offensive protection, but SMU looked terrible offensively. Like Penn State, who's got a duo at the defensive position. They have good tight end. They have great receivers. Their only flaw is that kind of like Ohio State. Can James Franklin finally get it done and get through the hump? Can he get the monkey off his back and keep going throughout the playoff? Because who they have next is Boise State. And Boise State, trust me, Boise State is good. I am not saying they aren't good. I'm saying they are good. Ashton Jeanty is the best running back and should win the Heisman Trophy. But instead, they're going to go for clicks than wins and put Travis Hunter over Ashton Jeanty, also because he believes in Christ, which is not a problem to me. He should win, not just because of Christ, because he's one of the best running backs. And I hope the New York Giants can select this guy because they need Saquon Barkley, someone that was like him. And if you got that, you got them in Ashton Jeanty, but we'll get more into that in a bit. Penn State, as we mentioned, they have good receivers, good tight ends, good offensive protection, and a decent defense. SMU looks terrible on the offensive side of the ball. I saw how they played yesterday, and they really put up a fight against Clemson. But again, it wasn't like it wasn't enough. It was that SMU has a legitimate chance to maybe shock the world by just don't see that, but I'll get to more of that in a minute. In the matchup we've all been waiting for. We've all been waiting for in Bloomington, Indiana. Got the privilege to go to college game day and see the Hoosiers against Washington when they were on college game day, which was awesome. But we're not talking more about game day. This is the battle of my state of Indiana, my state of the Hoosier and the Heartland. Did you know Notre Dame was supposed to be in Montgomery, Indiana, which is close to where my grandparents lived? And Notre Dame was not supposed to be in South Bend. It just was, if you read the whole history about it, Notre Dame was supposed to be in southern Indiana. And Montgomery's a very tiny community. Can you imagine if they had that team, the Fighting Irish football team, play on some cornfield in Montgomery and have the Hoosiers drive an hour south just to play them? It'd be insane. All you'd have to do is just go down I-69. We'd be rivals up to that point. But I'll actually, in the description of this video, we'll have the Wikipedia page. I'll actually show you guys because Notre Dame has a very rich history in South Bend, but they weren't supposed to be there. I might even make a video about that after the break is over, even before Christmas break. But anyway, this is the state's biggest matchup. It's like you watch North versus South, literally the old single A class format in the IHSAA, Indiana High School Athletic Association. And you watch basketball that was depicted on Hoosiers. It's Rudiger versus Hoosiers, Indiana and Notre Dame. And the winner of that game plays against Georgia, the Bulldogs at the All-State Sugar Bowl. In the history of IU, we have never been to the Rose Bowl. Or to not the Rose Bowl, I meant the All-State Sugar Bowl. We've never, I think in my lifetime, I've ever been to the Sugar Bowl. No, we've never been. I don't think so. These two teams have the honor of playing at 8 p.m. at Notre Dame Stadium, which is the largest stadium in Indiana, largest football stadium in Indiana. And Notre Dame and IU, this should be a classic. A classic. I don't know why people are saying it should be Notre Dame on one side and IU on the other. Reverse jackets type of deal. A lot of Hoosier fans are Notre Dame fans, and a lot of Notre Dame fans are IU fans. So it's state against state. It's literally a state championship. North against South, Muncie Central, and Milan. It's gonna literally feel like one of those games. It's nice having these two teams from Indiana play against each other. It's the greatest. I remember 2017, I was in the hospital with a broken back for reasons I won't explain on here. But I remember being in the hospital, and I remember I was there for about 5 days. And on the TV, Notre Dame and Butler were playing, and it was more like an in-state battle between Central and Northern Indiana. And that just makes us eat a lot of popcorn and be like, man, just sit down, grab your favorite drink, grab your favorite popcorn, and enjoy the cinema. Because it's pure cinema with these two teams from Indiana, like Butler, Notre Dame, Butler, IU, U of V, IU, University of Evansville, for those who don't know, University of Southern Indiana, Taylor, whatever. It's good to see a good old-fashioned Indiana showdown in the national stage, and we have the greatest time. Sorry, excuse me. We have the greatest time ever for this, and I can't stress it enough. This is going to be a classic of a matchup. We'll get into that in a bit in Georgia. What a game on Saturday. What a game yesterday where the Georgia Bulldogs pulled off a comeback and had to basically give Carson back a break. So, and his arm was hanging out, which we'll have to see how that's going to affect it once they play against these two teams. But my gosh, Georgia really put up a fight, and they're so deserving of number two. Now, let's get to the picks. And we'll start up at the top between the two orange teams, Clemson and Texas. For this one, I don't want to say it's a no-brainer, but I really like Texas to go in this game and win this game. Went for the Gibberish, they would say at Notre Dame. And then I'm going to go down here. Who's going to play against Oregon, Ohio State, or Tennessee? Ohio State better win at home. If it's one of those deals where they're just going to completely tank at home, I don't know. It's going to be a terrible situation if they lose, but I don't think Tennessee has that depth that they did last year and the year before. And I think Ohio State is going to actually avoid the shocker. So Tennessee will not beat Ohio State. Ohio State wins by 2 scores, but Tennessee keeps it close. So I got the Buckeyes beating the Tennessee Volunteers. Down here, I have Penn State beating SMU. And ooh, that'd be so interesting. Wow. Okay, Boise State and Penn State. Thank God it's not SMU. But SMU, I don't think will win that one in this bracket for this particular video. And the Rose Bowl is going to feature a familiar sight between Big Ten and Pac-12 with Ohio State and Oregon. The Fiesta Bowl is going to get another familiar feel to it because Boise State in 2006-07 completed the greatest shocker in American sports and beat Oklahoma to win the then called Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. So these two teams up here have a lot of similarities to each other. And now I think that'll be interesting. I debated for several hours of who I was going to pick for this game. But after much consideration, I cannot go about my day because I want you all to know I'm going to be an IU alum. I am an IU alum. I am an IU alum. I'm a graduate of Indiana University. And believe it or not, I am picking Indiana to shock the world and beat Notre Dame at South Bend. It will be close, but I think by a field goal and a defensive stop, it will not come easy. It will not be easy. But on the next bracket I do, I will pick Notre Dame. But for right now, I'm picking Indiana in this bracket, and that other one will not be televised or broadcasted here on YouTube or anywhere I post this. So we got the matchups: Texas, Arizona State, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Boise State, and IU, Georgia. I'm gonna stick the obvious that this should be down now from really good to very good and competitive in some markets. I think Ohio State and Oregon will keep it very competitive. But I'm going to pick for the first one Texas easily. And but they look shaky. My mind's telling me Ohio State. But again, I really like Oregon. They are solid. But Ohio State just does not want to get the upset again. They really don't need it for Ryan Day, but getting this win would ultimately make it where Ryan Day will have to suffer much more in the hiring realm. But I hate to say this, I love Oregon, and so I'm going to pick the Ducks to beat the Buckeyes. And then down here, Penn State, Boise State, all that won't be a classic. But I think Penn State actually gets it done. And who are they going to play? They are going to play Georgia. and they're going to play the Bulldogs, will upset the Hoosiers big. I don't think they'll be up for a very tall task. And if the Hoosiers, now let me just compare this to if I picked Notre Dame. Now, if it were Notre Dame, I can see that being very competitive, but Georgia still wins that one big. But my mind tells me Indiana, so I'm going to pick Indiana for that one. Georgia beats Indiana by like a score of 56 to 30 or something like that. It'll be a complete blowout, but yeah, I think that's just more of an obvious pick. We'll have to wait and see. And then finally, I did not know this, but they're going to play all the New Year's Six games, and the final four for this bracket will take place on January 10th at 7:30, and also on the 9th at 7:30. So many people are starting school then. It's crazy how they have that. Let's just go down here. I'm gonna pick. I really like Penn State and what they're building. This is an opportunity for them to build up their brand, but it's all SEC all the way in terms of Georgia getting the upset over Penn State, which would be huge, and national title implications would be heavy for that team. But if it were Penn State, which is kind of the fans' choice, I would say it'd be Penn State, Oregon, or Texas. But for this one, I got Oregon. They're really good, but actually, no, I got Texas. Texas and Georgia. Won't this be a great national championship game or what? I think it will be. The winner, however, will win their first championship, maybe big against Georgia because that defense in front is not as good as they were. But Georgia's going to steamroll Indiana, maybe steamroll Penn State, but they have no match against these Texas Longhorns, and they're going to match up for the third straight time. SEC versus SEC, and Texas wins the national championship. Let me submit that for credit. And that's it. Texas is your national champions of 2024. 25 my predictions. I wish I could pick Indiana, but this again is for videos, and I'm not going to be that judgmental about IU. But IU could literally win against Georgia. They could win against Penn State. It's not that. It's just we're picking that one team, make it all the way, and really win it all. When the clock strikes zero on the clock on January 20th, going into the 21st of 2025. So thank you all guys so much for watching. This is Braydyn Bear. Please make sure to subscribe and also comment on this video. Do you want to win the national championship? Thank you all so much. As a lot of my content will be pretty much kind of paused for a little bit, but we'll make content periodically. Podcasts and all that will be coming up on Tuesday, as long as I don't have a lot of finals and stuff like that going on. I will be sure to post this week, but possibly not Monday through Thursday of next week. So we'll get back at it again on that. Have a good night, everyone. And I wonder who you are going to pick as national champions. Good night, everyone, and sleep well.